Let me begin by sharing with you the knowledge of a quiet moment inside you, a stillness that often goes unnoticed beneath the noise of the world. It is the place where your true self resides, not the self shaped by others' expectations, not the self molded by fleeting successes or failures, but the self that knows what it means to be human. This moment, this inner sanctuary, is where your journey begins. Because before you can win the world, before you can influence, inspire, or lead, you must first win yourself. And winning yourself is not about conquest or domination. It is about understanding, embracing, and honoring the complexity of your own heart and mind. Imagine Abraham Lincoln, standing alone in the cold night, wrestling with doubt and fear, yet choosing to lead with empathy and conviction. Or Eleanor Roosevelt, who faced relentless criticism but responded with unwavering grace and a commitment to lift others. These figures did not win by overpowering others. They won by connecting deeply with themselves and those around them. They understood that true influence is not a weapon to wield but a bridge to build. This is the essence of what Dale Carnegie taught, a philosophy not of manipulation but of human connection. It is a call to awaken the emotional intelligence within you, to listen not just with your ears but with your soul, to speak not just with words but with authenticity. It is a reminder that every person you meet carries a story, a struggle, a hope, and that your greatest power lies in your ability to see them, truly see them, and respond with genuine interest and kindness. Self-awareness is the foundation of this power. To lead others, you must first lead yourself. This means looking inward with courage, acknowledging your fears, your biases, your limitations, and your strengths. It means understanding the stories you tell yourself, the narratives that shape your identity and your actions. Are you the person who fears rejection? The one who doubts their worth? The one who hides behind a mask of confidence? Recognize these patterns without judgment. This is not a battle to win, but a truth to embrace. When you become aware of your inner landscape, you gain the freedom to choose your response rather than react out of habit. You learn to pause before speaking, to consider the impact of your words, to align your actions with your values. This is the beginning of authentic influence, influence that flows from integrity, not from a desire to control. Empathy is the bridge that connects your self-awareness to the world. It is the ability to step into another's shoes, to feel their joys and pains as if they were your own. Empathy is not sympathy. It is not pity. It is a profound recognition of shared humanity. When Nelson Mandela emerged from prison, he did not seek revenge but understanding. He listened to his oppressors and his people alike, weaving a tapestry of reconciliation that transformed a nation. Listening is the gateway to empathy. Yet in a world obsessed with speaking and being heard, true listening has become a rare art. To listen is to give someone your full presence, to silence the inner chatter, to resist the urge to interrupt or judge. It is to create a space where others feel safe to reveal their true selves. This act of listening is a gift that opens doors, builds trust, and fosters collaboration. Confidence born of humility is the next step on this path. True confidence is not arrogance or entitlement. It is the quiet assurance that comes from knowing your worth without needing to prove it. It is the humility to admit when you do not have all the answers, the courage to learn from others, and the grace to accept your imperfections. Consider the leadership of someone like Fred Rogers, who taught generations that kindness and vulnerability are strengths, not weaknesses. His confidence was rooted in a deep humility, a recognition that every person matters, and that influence is earned through respect and care. Influence through understanding is the art of seeing beyond surface behaviors to the needs and desires that drive them. It is the ability to connect with others on a level that transcends words. When you understand what motivates someone, you can inspire them to act not out of obligation but out of genuine alignment with their values. This is the power of authentic persuasion, a power that does not coerce but invites, that does not demand but inspires. It is the power to win people's hearts and minds without losing your own. Handling criticism and conflict with grace is a test of this power. When faced with opposition, it is tempting to respond with defensiveness or anger. But true strength lies in the ability to listen to criticism without losing your center, to seek the truth within it, and to respond with calm and clarity. Think of Eleanor Roosevelt, who faced harsh judgment yet remained steadfast in her mission to uplift others. She understood that criticism is often a reflection of others' fears and insecurities, not a measure of your worth. By responding with grace, you disarm conflict and create space for dialogue and growth. Becoming unforgettable is not about being the loudest voice in the room or the most charismatic personality. It is about showing genuine interest in others, about making them feel seen, heard, and valued. It is about remembering names, asking thoughtful questions, and celebrating others' successes as if they were your own. This is the secret to lasting influence, the ability to create connections that endure beyond transactions and surface interactions. When you invest in others with sincerity, you build a network of trust and goodwill that opens doors to opportunities you never imagined. Leadership through encouragement and example is the culmination of this journey. True leaders do not command from above, they inspire from within. They lead by lifting others, by modeling the values they espouse, and by creating environments where people feel empowered to grow and contribute. Consider the legacy of Mandela, who led a divided nation toward unity, not through force but through forgiveness and vision. His leadership was a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of connection and courage. As you walk this path, remember that winning people and opportunities does not require losing yourself. It requires finding yourself, your values, your voice, your vision, and using them to build bridges, not walls. It requires embracing your humanity and the humanity of others with compassion and respect. This is the quiet power that changes lives, transforms communities, and shapes the future. It is the power to win without losing, to lead without dominating, to influence without controlling, and it begins with you, here, now, in this moment of stillness and possibility. The choice is yours. Will you step into your true power and win the world by winning your heart? As you begin to awaken to your authentic power, you realize that the journey inward is only the first step. The true test of your growth lies in how you reach outward, how you connect with others in a way that transcends surface interaction and touches the very core of their being. This is where empathy becomes your compass, and listening your most powerful tool. Empathy is not a skill reserved for the few. It is a choice available to every person willing to see beyond themselves. It is the act of stepping into another's world, not to judge or fix, but simply to understand. Imagine the weight of a person's unspoken struggles, the silent battles they fight behind a smile. When you choose empathy, you acknowledge those battles without needing to solve them. You offer presence, and in that presence you create healing. Think of the story of a young Eleanor Roosevelt who once said, "You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face." She did not just speak these words, she lived them by listening deeply to the fears and hopes of those around her, even when it was uncomfortable. Her empathy became a beacon that drew people toward her, not because she demanded attention, but because she gave it freely. Listening, then, is the gateway to empathy. But true listening is rare. It requires more than hearing words. It demands that you quiet the noise inside your own mind, the urge to respond, to defend, to interrupt. It asks you to be fully present, to hold space for another's story without rushing to judgment or advice. This kind of listening is a radical act of respect. It says you matter, your story matters. When you listen with this depth, you unlock a profound connection. People feel seen, understood, and valued. Doors open not because you pushed them, but because you invited others in with genuine curiosity and care. This is the essence of influence that does not manipulate but inspires. Consider Nelson Mandela's remarkable ability to listen, not just to allies but to adversaries. After 27 years in prison, he emerged not with bitterness, but with a willingness to understand the fears and motivations of those who had oppressed him. His listening paved the way for reconciliation and a new future for South Africa. This is the power of empathy and listening. It transforms conflict into collaboration, division into unity. As you cultivate this heart of connection, you begin to see that influence is not about control or persuasion through force. It is about creating a space where others feel safe to be themselves, where their voices are heard and their humanity honored. This is how you win people, not by overpowering them, but by empowering them. And in this empowerment, you find your own confidence growing, a confidence rooted not in dominance, but in humility. Because to truly listen and empathize, you must be willing to set aside your ego, to admit that you do not have all the answers, and to embrace the wisdom that comes from others. This humility is not weakness, it is the foundation of lasting strength. It allows you to lead with authenticity, to influence with integrity, and to build relationships that endure beyond fleeting moments. So as you move forward, remember that the heart of connection beats strongest when empathy and listening guide your every interaction. This is where true influence begins, in the sacred space between two souls willing to meet, understand, and grow together. As you deepen your understanding of connection through empathy and listening, you begin to realize that true confidence is not a loud proclamation or a show of power. It is a quiet strength that grows from humility, a strength that does not seek to overshadow others but to uplift them, and in doing so uplifts yourself. Humility is often misunderstood as weakness or submission, but in truth it is the soil from which genuine confidence blooms. It is the courage to acknowledge your imperfections, to admit when you don't know, and to remain open to learning. It is the grace to accept criticism without defensiveness, and the wisdom to see every experience as an opportunity for growth. Consider the life of Fred Rogers, a man whose gentle voice and humble demeanor touched millions. His confidence was not built on grandiosity, but on a deep belief in the value of kindness and vulnerability. He showed us that strength lies in being authentic, in embracing your true self without pretense or fear. When you cultivate humility, You free yourself from the exhausting need to prove your worth to others. You stop chasing validation and instead find it within. This internal assurance allows you to stand tall in the face of doubt and criticism, not because you are unshakable, but because you are grounded in truth. It shifts your focus from winning arguments or gaining approval to fostering understanding and collaboration. People are drawn to those who lead with humility because they sense a genuine spirit, someone who listens as much as they speak, who values others as much as themselves. Humility also teaches you patience. It reminds you that leadership is not about instant results or control, but about steady, consistent effort. Like a tree that grows slowly but surely, your influence deepens over time as you nurture relationships with care and respect. In moments of challenge, humility becomes your anchor. When criticism comes, you do not recoil or retaliate. Instead, you listen, reflect, and respond with grace. You recognize that criticism often reveals more about the critic's fears than your own shortcomings. This perspective frees you from the burden of defensiveness and opens the door to meaningful dialogue. As you embody this quiet strength, you become a beacon for others. Your confidence inspires trust, your humility invites openness, and your authenticity creates a space where people feel safe to be themselves. This is the foundation of true leadership, a leadership that wins hearts without losing integrity. So embrace humility not as a limitation but as a source of power. Let it guide you to a confidence that is steady, sincere, and deeply rooted in your humanity. In doing so, you will find that winning people and opportunities is not a battle to be fought, but a journey to be shared. With humility as your foundation and empathy as your guide, you step into the true art of influence, a subtle, profound dance that begins not with speaking, but with understanding. To influence others authentically, you must first seek to understand their world, their fears, their dreams, and their motivations. Only then can your words and actions resonate with meaning and inspire genuine change. This principle echoes the timeless wisdom of Dale Carnegie, who taught that the deepest human desire is to feel important and understood. When you approach others with this mindset, you shift from trying to persuade or control to inviting and inspiring. Influence becomes less about winning and more about connecting. Think of the great leaders who moved nations and hearts: Abraham Lincoln, who navigated a divided America by listening to both sides with patience and respect, or Nelson Mandela, who dismantled apartheid not through force alone, but through a profound understanding of his adversaries' fears and hopes. Their influence was rooted in a deep comprehension of the human condition. Understanding before being understood requires you to set aside your own agenda temporarily. It asks you to listen not just to words, but to the emotions and values beneath them. What does this person truly care about? What fears hold them back? What hopes drive their actions? When you answer these questions with sincerity, you create a bridge that invites collaboration rather than resistance. This approach transforms conflict into opportunity. Instead of meeting opposition with defensiveness, you respond with curiosity. Instead of pushing your ideas, you invite dialogue. This is the power of influence that does not coerce but inspires, a power that wins people's hearts and minds without compromising your own integrity. Influence through understanding also means recognizing the power of storytelling. Stories are the language of the soul. They bypass resistance and speak directly to our shared humanity. When you share your story with vulnerability and listen to others' stories with openness, you create a space where influence flows naturally. Remember, influence is not a tool for manipulation, but a responsibility to serve. It is the ability to inspire others to become their best selves, to align their actions with their values, and to contribute meaningfully to a shared vision. This kind of influence is enduring because it is built on trust, respect, and genuine connection. As you practice this art, you will find that opportunities begin to unfold, not because you demanded them, but because you earned them through understanding and respect. You become a magnet for collaboration, innovation, and growth. So embrace the art of influence by seeking first to understand. Let your curiosity and compassion lead the way. In doing so, you will win people, win opportunities, and win without losing yourself. As you master the art of influence through understanding, you will inevitably encounter moments that test your resolve, moments of criticism, conflict, and challenge. These moments are not obstacles to avoid, but opportunities to demonstrate your true strength. How you respond to adversity reveals the depth of your character and the power of your leadership. Criticism can sting, it can shake your confidence and provoke defensiveness. But consider the wisdom of Eleanor Roosevelt, who faced relentless judgment yet chose to respond with grace and unwavering commitment to her values. She understood that criticism often reflects the fears and insecurities of others, not the truth about yourself. When criticism comes, the first step is to listen. Truly listen without rushing to defend or dismiss. In that pause, you create space to discern what is constructive and what is noise. This discernment is a skill born of humility and self-awareness. It allows you to extract lessons from feedback, while letting go of unwarranted negativity. Conflict, too, is a natural part of human interaction. It arises when perspectives clash, when emotions run high, and when stakes feel personal. Yet conflict need not be destructive. When approached with grace, it becomes a catalyst for growth, understanding, and stronger relationships. Imagine Nelson Mandela's approach to conflict, not with retaliation, but with reconciliation. His ability to hold firm to his principles while extending forgiveness transformed a nation. This is the power of responding with poise. It disarms hostility and invites collaboration. To navigate conflict gracefully, cultivate emotional intelligence. Recognize your triggers and manage your reactions. Speak with calm clarity, focusing on the issue rather than personal attacks. Seek common ground and express your willingness to understand the other's perspective. Remember, grace under fire is not about suppressing your feelings or conceding your values. It is about maintaining your center, communicating with respect, and choosing responses that elevate rather than escalate. By embodying this grace, you become a model for others. You show that strength is not loud or aggressive, but steady and composed. You create an environment where difficult conversations lead to solutions, not division. In this way, handling criticism and conflict with poise is not just a survival skill, it is a leadership art that wins respect, builds trust, and opens doors to new opportunities. So when faced with adversity, choose grace. Let your response be a testament to your inner strength and your commitment to lead with integrity. In doing so, you will win people's hearts and minds without losing your own. As you navigate the complexities of influence, empathy, and grace, you begin to understand a profound truth. The most unforgettable people are not those who demand attention, but those who give it. They are the ones who make others feel truly seen, heard, and valued. This genuine interest in others is a rare gift, one that transforms relationships and opens doors to opportunities beyond measure. Think of the simple power of a name. Remembering someone's name, asking about their passions, recalling details from past conversations. These small acts speak volumes. They say, "You matter to me." This is the essence of human connection, the thread that weaves trust and loyalty. Dale Carnegie famously said, "You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you." When you shift your focus from self to others, you create a magnetic presence that draws people in naturally. Consider the leaders who have left lasting impressions, not because of their titles or achievements, but because of their ability to connect on a human level. They listen with intent, celebrate others' successes, and offer encouragement without expectation. Their presence is a sanctuary where people feel safe to be authentic. Cultivating genuine interest requires curiosity and humility. It means setting aside your own agenda to explore the stories, dreams, and challenges of those around you. It means asking questions that invite depth rather than surface answers. It means celebrating differences and finding common ground. This practice enriches your relationships and expands your influence. People remember how you made them feel long after words are forgotten. They become allies, collaborators, and advocates because you invested in them sincerely. Moreover, genuine interest is a two-way street. As you open your heart to others, you also invite them to see your authentic self. This mutual vulnerability builds trust and deepens connection, creating a foundation for meaningful collaboration and shared success. In a world often distracted by noise and superficiality, your ability to be present and genuinely interested becomes a rare and powerful advantage. It is the key to winning people's hearts without losing your own. So embrace the unforgettable presence that comes from sincere curiosity and care. Let your interactions be marked by kindness, attentiveness, and respect. In doing so, you will build bridges that lead to lasting opportunities and profound fulfillment. As you cultivate genuine connections and build an unforgettable presence, you come to realize that leadership is not about titles, authority, or control. True leadership is a quiet, steady light, a force that inspires, uplifts, and guides without overshadowing. It is leadership through encouragement and example, a leadership that wins not by commanding but by empowering. Leadership begins with the simple act of believing in others, seeing their potential even when they cannot see it themselves. It is the courage to speak words of encouragement that kindle hope and ignite passion. It is the humility to serve rather than be served, to lift others as you climb. Consider the legacy of Nelson Mandela, who led a fractured nation toward unity, not through force but through forgiveness and vision. His leadership was a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of connection and courage. He showed us that true leaders create environments where people feel valued, heard, and inspired to contribute their best. Leading by example means embodying the values you wish to see in others. It means showing up with integrity, kindness, and resilience, even when no one is watching. Your actions become a silent language that speaks louder than words, setting the tone for those around you. Encouragement is the fuel that sustains this leadership. It transforms fear into confidence, doubt into determination. When you encourage others, you create a ripple effect, a wave of positivity that spreads far beyond your immediate circle. This kind of leadership is not about perfection or control. It is about authenticity and connection. It is about recognizing that every person you lead is a complex human being with dreams, fears, and unique gifts. When you honor that humanity, you inspire loyalty and trust that endure. As you step into this role, remember that leadership is a journey, not a destination. It requires patience, empathy, and a willingness to grow alongside those you lead. It calls you to be both a guide and a learner, a voice and a listener. In leading by light through encouragement and example, you win people's hearts and minds without losing your own. You create a legacy not of power, but of purpose, not of control, but of connection. So embrace this true mark of leadership. Let your life be the example that others aspire to follow. Let your words be the encouragement that others carry forward. In doing so, you will win people, win opportunities, and win without losing yourself. Now, as you stand at the threshold of your journey, a journey not defined by trophies or titles but by the depth of your humanity, it is time to embrace the quiet power within. This power is not loud or boastful. It is steady, clear, and unwavering. It is the courage to be yourself fully, the clarity to lead with heart and mind aligned, and the resolve to win without losing the essence of who you are. Winning people, winning opportunities, these are not mere goals. They are reflections of a life lived with intention, empathy, and integrity. They are the fruits of a path walked with humility and strength, where every step honors both your own truth and the truths of those you encounter. Remember Abraham Lincoln, who faced a nation divided yet chose unity over division. Remember Eleanor Roosevelt, who met criticism with grace and transformed it into courage. Remember Nelson Mandela, who turned imprisonment into a platform for peace. Their victories were not just in what they achieved, but in how they chose to be. Leaders who won hearts without losing their souls. This is your invitation to lead with authenticity, to influence with empathy, to connect with genuine interest, and to face adversity with grace. To build bridges where others build walls. To listen deeply, speak truthfully, and act with purpose. The world does not need more voices shouting to be heard. It needs more hearts willing to listen, more hands ready to lift, and more souls brave enough to lead with kindness and conviction. So step forward with courage, let clarity be your compass, and hold fast to the quiet power that comes from winning yourself first. Because when you do not just win people or opportunities. You win a life of meaning, impact, and profound connection. Win people, win opportunities, win without losing yourself. The choice is yours, the time is now,